everyone, my name is Tanya and welcome back to my channel about fiber arts. It has been about 3 weeks since my first podcast and I think it's time to give some updates. I didn't have that much of a progress, but I was able to finish 3 projects, 1 sewing, 1 knitting and 1 crochet. I'm also gonna talk about what I'm gonna work on in the next couple of weeks. I hope you'll enjoy this video and let's get started. First I'm going to talk about knitting, then crochet, sewing, and at the end I'm gonna give a little bit of update on my tatting experience. So if you are not interested in knitting or crochet, you can always skip to the next part. The first finished object is this hat. For this hat I was inspired by the Grow pattern from Pinterest, but I haven't purchased that hat pattern. Instead, I took the width element and I calculated my own gauge and the amount of stitches I need for myself for this pattern. I think my yarn is finer than the one in the pattern, that's why I was thinking that if I purchase it anyways I have to recalculate everything. And yeah, I really like the design. I like everything related to nature, and even though it's in the blue color, I think it's still fine. The yarn for this hat I have shown in the previous video. It is Superwash Merino Extra Fine by Yarn Art, and based on my experience I think it is very similar to Drops Merino Extra Fine. It is the same class of yarn, however it is much cheaper here in Turkey, and anyways we don't have access to Drops yarn or any other kinds of Norwegian and Scandinavian yarns, so that's what it is. I had 8 longer width elements and 8 shorter, so I have decided to make my decreases based on the 8 segments at the end. I'm going to try it on now. So this is how it fits me. It's not a beanie hat. It doesn't have anything extra here. I'm really excited to wear it in cold times. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to have a short trip to Moscow just for a couple of days to apply for my passport, and it is already winter there. I mean, it's kind of like winter weather there, and I'm gonna take it with me and maybe I'm gonna take some photos. This is my very first finished project in the past 3 weeks. Now let's move on to my work in progress. And yeah, this is this tweed cardigan that I still haven't finished. So I have finished 1 sleeve, I have finished the body, I even blocked the body, and 1 sleeve left. So why it took so long? I wanted to have 4 buttons total, and I have finished the length accordingly. Then I decided to block it to see how it looks. And first of all, I'm gonna show it on the photo. It turned out that the very last skein that I've used for the body, it was a slightly different shade. And it actually was obvious. After I blocked it and I was seeing how it was staying flat on my floor, I've seen that it is different color. And another thing is the cardigan became so long. No, it didn't stretch, it's just I didn't estimate it correctly. And the length was too much, it wouldn't look anyhow good. So what I've done, after it dried, I just cut that bottom that was a little bit different shade and then picked up the stitches, made another rib with normal skein, and closed up all the stitches. So now I have total of 3 buttonholes. I don't have buttons yet, but they will be total of 3 buttons. It is much better length now, and here is the sleeve, and you can see how, maybe you can see on the video how uneven the fabric on the sleeve is versus the one that has been blocked already. I was really hoping to finish it this week and take it with me to Russia, but it didn't happen. The plans have changed, so I guess I'm gonna have to wait until winter comes to Turkey to wear it. I'm on my break from my main job this week, and the past week. So in the last week I have made a trip to Istanbul, to Kadıköy, with my knitting friend, and we went to all our favorite shops, handmade shops there, and I'm gonna show you some of the video that I've taken there. And of course I didn't leave Istanbul empty-handed. I have purchased this yarn. It's called Wool Star by Gazal in ruby wine color. It is 100% superwash merino fine wool, and it has 350 meters in 100 grams. It is super soft, and Gazal is more of a luxurious brand in Turkey, so it is not really like on the cheaper side. I have bought 2 skeins of this, and I'm so excited to make my next project out of this. This yarn is going to come with me to Russia on my trip, and I'm gonna take this project with me. It will be a Gryffindor house scarf for my daughter. I have this something like 50-gram leftover of mustard yellow yarn that I've bought a long time ago from Hobby Lobby in United States. I think it was called Must Be Merino. So it has something like merino wool, acrylic, nylon, but mostly merino. And yeah, this I think will pair it very nicely with ruby red color. I had these long needles for about 2 years now. They are so smooth and wooden, and I really like the feel of them. I usually use them for photo props, but this time I really want to try knitting with them, this scarf, because they are 4mm needles. I'm gonna hold 2 strands of this yarn, and I think I'm gonna use 4mm needles for that. They are so long, I'm not used to these long needles. However, when I first knitted in 2015, my very first projects, I think the first needles I've purchased from AC Moore were not circular. It was something like this, but metal. I really want to take knitting with me on the plane tomorrow. But in Istanbul airport, they will not let me in even with these 4mm wooden ones. They think it's dangerous, they have different regulations. And unfortunately, my knitting project will have to go into the checked-in bag. Last time I have shown you this red crocheted pumpkin that I've done by the MJs of the Hook design. I'm going to link the pattern below. In the past 3 weeks I was able to complete another one, and this one is bigger. It has 8 segments. I think this is the cutest crocheted pumpkin ever, and really recommend this pattern. It is good for practicing cable stitch, crocheted cable stitch. The fiber feel is a little bit seen through the holes in this pattern, in this pumpkin. However, I think it is because I've used cotton yarn. If you use something more like a regular wool, it's gonna be more hidden inside. And also, it is a decoration. It's not a toy, or it serves as a decoration, so you really need to come really close to this pumpkin to be able to see what's seen through these little holes in between the stitches. So not a big deal for me at all. So I really recommend this pattern. If you're into crocheting something for the fall, go ahead and check it out. It's this mushroom doll that I test crocheted for a designer called Kristina Ceskarevich. She is from Belarus, and she has all her patterns translated to English. They are available on her Etsy shop. I'm gonna link it below. I really like her patterns, and in my previous video about crocheted toys, about all kinds of toys, but crocheted as well, I'm talking about a hedgehog. It's also her pattern. So this one is not meant for play, I think, because, I don't know, the dress is not coming out, the head is actually glued here, it's not stitched to the head, this mushroom head, it is fixed with the hot glue. So it is serving as a decoration of our living room. And I was able to use all of the little leftovers, mostly cotton. That skin color is 100% cotton. The red color is, I think, cotton acrylic blend, and the blue one, it was a little leftover of cotton merino by Drops, which was very difficult to crochet because it was always splitting. Nevertheless, I really like this project, and yeah, I think it's gonna be also very nice for our winter home decor. I do recommend Christina's patterns if you are into crocheting or knitting toys. Yes, she has both knitting and crochet toys. I'm not gonna crochet anything in the next couple of weeks because now let's move on to sewing, and I'm gonna show you and talk about sewing and what is coming up next. In my very first podcast, I have shown a couple of stripes ready for my patchwork blanket that I've started working on last winter and then abandoned, and I have finished it. I'm so excited. It has total of 7 rows of 4 squares each. I'm gonna show it in a separate video or photo, the entire length of it. It is my very first finished patchwork project. I have tried patchwork a long time ago when my daughter was born, and at that time I have made a huge mistake. I have assembled all the squares together, and I did not stitch all the layers through, so the batting and the bottom layer and those squares, they were separate and they were connected only at the edge. And of course, in a couple of rows, the batting was somehow clustered and all looked bad. I couldn't do anything to fix it. So yes, I think right now I realize that the main thing in patchwork is to stitch through the layers. And it was so difficult, I wouldn't be able to move all of this blanket through my home sewing machine because it's huge and it is so difficult to stitch through all the layers, especially somewhere in the middle of the blanket. That's why I have tried, and probably I'm gonna publish a short video of how I have connected all the pieces together. So I was stitching through the layers, all the 3 layers, not the entire thing, but just one square. So each square was stitched first through all the three layers. It was stitched through, and then all of these squares were connected to each other with these stripes of dark brown fabric. The fabric I've used for this, it's not really the patchwork fabric. The only patchwork fabric here is this dark brown. So this dotted fabric, it's more like a cotton batiste. It is very thin. And this green one is some kind of a short cotton fabric. It's also quite thin for patchwork. This white one, it's leftover of IKEA curtains. I had to cut IKEA curtains to our lengths, and whatever left I've used for this white background. And the tree, it's some kind of a linen that I tried to make a skirt and I made a mistake while cutting it out, and it was not enough anymore to make another skirt. So yeah, I found how to use it in this blanket. The back of the blanket, it is some old bed sheet. It's not that old, it was not used for many years because it's from my mother-in-law, and she switched to using fitted sheets many years ago, and this was just staying because it was good, but nobody used it. The only thing I've bought for this one, it's maybe half a yard of this brown fabric, and that one is really meant for patchwork. I'm so excited about the finished look of it, and my son's room became so nicer with that. He has some IKEA bed, and that one is not a standard toddler size, and it is not a twin size yet, so it is not possible to find anything cute in that size in the regular store. And Now he has this unique blanket made by me, and it is in my favorite green beige tones. I think when he grows out of his bed, it's not gonna be, of course, enough for the twin bed, so I think we might be able to use it as a couch throw or something like to throw on the armchair as well. Now I'll tell you a little bit of what I'm going to make in the next couple of weeks. So I washed the fabric that I've shown with foxes, and probably I'm going to cut the dress out of it today. However, something else is coming up. So at the beginning of November, my daughter will have her very first real competition in figure skating here in Turkey. She started figure skating in the United States, but it wasn't professional. And then when she was 5, we came to Istanbul, and the figure skating club was far away, it wasn't good, so we kind of lost the entire year. And last year we moved to my husband's hometown, and here is it's the best figure skating club I have ever seen. It is professional, and so she passed last year her very first qualification exam or test, and this year she is qualified for her first competition. We are afraid, scared, stressed, excited, everything about this. So she used to have her performances in clubs in the United States and here in Turkey. And I have always made her performance dresses before, but it was kind of in club, and now I feel more pressure because this is a real competition now. So I have ordered a fabric. I'm gonna show a picture of it. I haven't received it yet. I'm gonna pick it up. Hopefully it will come on time while I'm in Moscow. I'm gonna pick it up from the post office there. It is gonna be some sort of turquoise blue and white, and the music she's skating for is some sort of Celtic Irish. And initially I was thinking of a green dress. I found some very nice emerald dark green, but she's little, and I think that is more dramatic and dark, more like of this color. So another thing, I wanted to try to make a skirt with this gradient from darker color or from some color to white. And I found some store in Russia, online store, for the fabric specialized for sport clothes and specifically for figure skating. This store only had blue and red gradient stretch chiffon. I don't know how it will be. It is just a square 75 by 75 centimeter, and I hope it will be enough for the skirt because figure skating skirt is really short. Her dress will be based on the pattern for gymnastics suit. I have also ordered some sparkles and special glue to glue them on. Last year I have tried my sparkles that came with me from the United States, and they didn't glue properly. They were coming off the dress, so I decided to order a new one. Maybe there is something, maybe the glue is expired, I don't know. I feel kind of a lot of pressure. Also, I'm back to work, my main job next week, so I'm not gonna have that much time. Plus, we also have to go to practice. My daughter sketched a design of the dress she wants. I'm gonna try to make the dress based on her design, of course, if I'm gonna get the approval by the coaches. I'm really excited and kind of stressed about this upcoming project. Let's see how it turns out. And now let's move on to the last part of my video, tatting. I haven't tatted much during these 3 weeks. I have completed only 1.5 segments of this color. I think it will look really good with this dress when it's complete. And since I'm not allowed to take knitting needles on the plane, I think this tatting will come with me, and hopefully I'll make some progress tomorrow. Also, one of the tatting shuttles is already running out of thread, so I think the full shuttle will make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 segments total. So probably I will need to rethread it twice more. In my last video I told you that I don't have access to any tatting books, and my husband's colleague went to the United States for the conference and brought me this book from Amazon. It's called The Complete Book of Tatting, Everything You Want to Know But Couldn't Find Out About Shuttle Lace by Rebecca Jones. I have chosen this book over the others because I think it has most of the useful information on tatting that I might not be able to find on the internet. For example, I found here the information on how to unravel a ring if I made a mistake. So it is easy to unravel the chain, but with the ring I had some problems, and a couple of times when I made a mistake in this color, I had to cut a thread and attach a new one and hide the tail because I just couldn't, I didn't know how to unravel the closed ring already. So I found it in this book. Also, it has some patterns, very nice ones. It has some Christian patterns or something that is actually very exciting for me specifically. It shows how to do tatting, attach tatting to the entredot. Entredot is some sort of a fabric strip with some holes that you attach on one side to the garment and on the other side to the ready lace. However, instead of attaching it to the ready French lace, for example, I can tat and it will be something cool for the, for example, Peter Pan colors for my daughter. I'm really excited about it and happy. And after I'm done with the color, I'm going to try to tat something from this book. This is all I wanted to show you in this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. It is not as much as I wanted to complete. However, we are all working, busy with kids and families, and life is so fast nowadays. And I think it is good to have at least this much time for our favorite hobbies. Let me know what you think about it and what you liked most. And I always appreciate your feedback, any likes and comments to support my little channel. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye! During this break I've met my knitting friend and we went to our favorite handmade shops in Istanbul. Our first stop was in the shop that sells accessories for jewelry making. It has enormous selection of all kinds of beads and metal accessories, and everything is sold by the weight. I'm not making jewelry, I just wanted to try to make some knitting markers. And for those, I found here very cute ceramic mushrooms and dark metal pins. Then we went to a yarn shop. It sells only Turkish brands. Of course it has lots of acrylic, but among these Turkish brands there are also very nice selections. For example, these skeins of merino wool by Gazal and Feza. Look at these gorgeous fall colors. And also some hand-dyed skeins. A couple of years ago, Gazal brand produced analog of the famous Drops Air. And more merino, this one is more budget-friendly. There is a trend in Turkey for knitted and crocheted bags, and some yarn shops sell their finished objects. Lastly, we went to the fabric shop. It has wonderful selection of fabrics. I found something that was suitable for performance dress. However, I decided to go with another color and ordered it online.